Terror state Pakistan stands completely cornered and isolated, warning Pakistan. The United States has passed a resolution demanding action against Pakistan for shielding and harboring terror. The Congressman Scott Perry introduced the resolution and said that it is time for Pakistani government to be held accountable, and added that Pakistan has a long history of harboring terrorists and terror sympathizers. The resolution also calls for the United States to recognize the threat of the Jaish-e-Mohammed. Now, a resolution demanding action by Pakistan on eliminating safe haven for terrorists was introduced in the US Congress. Now, this was introduced by Congressman Scott Perry in the US House of Representatives. Now, this resolution also condemns the Pulwama attack carried out by Pakistani-based, Pakistani-backed terror group Jaish-e-Mohammed. In that Jaish-e-Mohammed attack on February 14th, 40 Indian CRPF jawans were martyred. Now, this resolution introduced in the US Congress states, "Enough is enough. Now is the time to hold the Pakistani government accountable. Pakistan has a long history of harboring terrorists and terrorist sympathizers despite continued American efforts to root out bad actors in the region." The resolution also calls for the US states to recognize the threat of the Jaish-e-Mohammed terror group, reaffirm America's commitment to end Pakistani-based terror, and acknowledge India's continued commitment to prevent terrorism in the region. The resolution also adds, actively choosing lax enforcement has cost innocent lives and emboldens radicals to perpetrate similar attacks. So Pakistan stands completely exposed at the international level. We'll also play out a bite of India's representative at the UN. Listen in.
Madam President, terrorism is a scourge that is tearing at the fabric of societies across the globe. It is a menace that is not quarantined to any region. People now live in fear of terrorist threats in countries across the world. Combating terrorism is viewed by many states and their people as one of the most fundamental security policy priorities that require global responsiveness. Effective and sustained efforts at countering terrorist financing is at the heart of the issue of addressing terrorism. We therefore welcome this initiative to bring together in a comprehensive manner various existing norms and regulations. It is a milestone in global efforts to set up a normative framework to criminalize terrorist financing. We specifically welcome the recognition in the resolution of the essential role of the Financial Action Task Force. As the saying goes, the proof of the pudding is in its eating. The utility of any Council resolution will therefore be in its implementation. Non-compliance of crucial sanctions measures in case of UN-proscribed terrorists and entities renders all of us member states at a high risk of facing challenges from these terrorist organizations who are well-funded and armed despite international measures. Terrorists are going to be ever more creative in finding ways to violate the rule book. Also, the unfortunate reality is that states who are apologists for terrorists will continue to provide alibis to justify their actions and inaction too, as was done by a serial offender earlier today. Nevertheless, we, the international community, need to be determined to continue evolving our toolbox and go by our rule book rather than be distracted and stray from our determination. The global community is impatient for action. Going forward, the UN collectively needs to do more and to do it much more effectively. For its part, India will be a willing partner in this endeavor.